Shrabani Basu is an Indian journalist, best-selling author and historian born in Kolkata. After graduating in history from St. Stephen's College in Delhi, she worked as a trainee journalist for The Times of India in Bombay in 1983. In 1987, she moved to London, where she enriched her career by interviewing South Asian politicians and writers, as well as West Indian sportsmen. In 1887, Abdul Karim, a simple Indian scribe employed at Agra prison in India, had the honor of being summoned by Her Majesty Victoria to act as an attendant, along with another Indian servant named Muhammad, during the Golden Jubilee, delivering a muhur, a commemorative coin belonging to the Mughal dynasty, as a gift for Her Majesty. During their meeting, Abdul's culture and physical appearance impressed the sovereign so much that she decided to make him her Urdu language teacher, or munshi, as well as her personal secretary, despite the envy and racial prejudices of the court. Thus, it was that the two, although they belonged to opposite social classes and different cultures, consolidated a friendship that was comparable to the one that the Queen had until 1883 with her now deceased Scottish servant John Brown. The book has an introduction in which Karim's father, Dr. Vazaruddin, offered his assistance during the Indian Rebellion. However, in the film, this character is described as a simple apothecary. In the book, the first voyage to the United Kingdom occurred within a year of Abdul's confirmation, during which time he learned English quite well. In contrast, in the film, on the ship, both Karim and Muhammad learned the Anglo-Saxon language and details of the royal family. In the literary version, Karim presented the muhur on the palm of his hand, whereas in the film version, a tray is used. Subsequently, in the paper version, Abdul's assistance lasts throughout the entire Golden Jubilee period, as established from the beginning, while in the film adaptation, after the delivery of the above-mentioned gift, Karim was supposed to return to India. Moreover, in the book, Victoria began to show interest in Karim only during the banquet planned for the third day of the Golden Jubilee, when Abdul, while serving the Queen along with Muhammad, kissed Her Majesty's feet out of devotion and then met her gaze, whereas in the film, the interest begins with the delivery of the aforesaid coin. Afterwards, unlike the book, in the film there are a few scenes in which the sovereign, walking and chatting with Karim, reveals her emotions regarding her role, the hatred towards her shared throughout the world, her dissatisfaction with her children, her impotence after years of serenity, the loneliness caused by the death of her husband Albert and her Scottish servant John Brown. Furthermore, in the literary version, Victoria realized the idea of making the young Indian protagonist her munshi, whereas in the film version, it is Karim who gives her this idea. During the journey to Scotland, in the paper version, the Queen wrote a letter in which she reiterated that, in case of bad weather, tea would be served indoor, while in the film version, despite the blizzard, the Queen, served by Muhammad, sips hot tea together with Abdul and the royals. Later, when arriving in England, Abdul's wife, according to Victoria's letters quoted in the book, appeared dressed in green, red and blue veils and adorned with gold sequins. In the film, this consort wears a red and gold dress with a gold nose ring. Finally, the sovereign created the Darbar room, Abdul's idea in the film, but in the book it was Victoria who wanted it, inspired by an Indian-style billiard room. Although their initial interest was based on a purely physical approach, Victoria and Abdul's relationship developed into a friendship so special that it overcame all social and cultural barriers to support each other, both professionally and personally. In fact, Abdul not only taught Her Majesty Urdu as she requested, but also tried to help her fulfill her role as queen by replying to her correspondence. In return, the sovereign guaranteed her Munshi a plot of land in India as a pension and high honors, including the title of knight. However, as every friendship has its ups and downs, so did the two protagonists of the story. In fact, regardless of the shy and placid nature with which Karim is portrayed in the film, the young Indian man actually tended to react to the entourage's provocations by talking to Victoria, who, while disapproving of such abrupt manners, was patient enough to calm him down, an inevitable though difficult phase of a lasting friendship. Moreover, unlike the society of the time, including the aristocratic circle, the Queen, despite all contradictions, showed unconditional respect for her hindered subjects, some of whom, in spite of this, were still opposed to the British regime. Furthermore, although she had many children, Victoria always felt misunderstood and underestimated by her family, until, upon Karim's arrival in her life, she began to feel heard and consequently considered, to the point that she perceived an authentic maternal feeling towards her Indian friend. The grief that Abdul felt at the death of his friend confirms this authenticity. Unlike the sovereign's son, Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, who waited for nothing more than his mother's departure in order to ascend the throne and rid himself of the presence of the Munshi and his family. After all, Victoria, by assigning Abdul unconditional merits, fed the envy of her family and the royal entourage, to the point that the latter began to discriminate Karim on the grounds of their racial, religious, and cultural prejudices, eventually seeking evidence about his private life in order to discredit him at all costs. The book gained literary importance as witnessed by leading American, British, Pakistani, and Indian newspapers. The Washington Times evaluated the author's style by defining her work as a solid homework, whereas the Washington Post highlighted the unfair secrecy of past events, stating verbatim that although it was good to have brought the Queen and the Mushin story to light, such clarification should serve as an example to avoid further dark historical secrets. Instead, the New York Times preferred to emphasize the essence of the story as well as pointing out Abdul's religion by carrying out a review entitled When the Empress of India Met Her Muslim Teacher. Furthermore, BBC History magazine, as well as belonging to the British Broadcasting Company that produced the film, labeled the work a charming tale which should have been told before. The Pakistani newspaper Dawn described the book as a melange of history, drama and fantasy, while the Indian newspaper The Times of India reiterated that the potential of Shabani Basu's work lies in her ability to have been able to expose facts rather than fiction. This work piqued my curiosity from the moment I accidentally saw the film's trailer via TikTok, a popular digital entertainment app. Normally, the historical and dramatic genre does not particularly excite me, but I have always been fascinated by cultural exchanges, diversity of all kinds, and the sense of justice and awareness that any medium can convey by representing every form of past discrimination that is unfortunately still present today. After watching the film, I had the chance to read the original work, and in my opinion, both versions have both positive and negative sides. Although well documented in such a way as to offer a sometimes ponderous completeness, the literary version features characters with more defined personality nuances than the film version, which was able to move me, although the plot was made brief, thanks to the moments in which the relationship between the two protagonists stood out and the passion with which Judi Dench was able to play Victoria.